Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is our Rise News analyst, Emmanuel Efeni, the Great Malabite.
Good morning, Ruben.
Good morning.
You're welcome back to the beat.
Thank you.
Good morning, Rufai.
Morning, sir.
Yes, we'll start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. In aggressive bid to tame inflation, CBN raises MPR to 15.5%, hikes CRR to 32.5% to check currency speculation, orders banks to make adjustment. Emefiele, 9 trillion injected into the economy in 3 years, says no assurance on monetary easing yet, promises additional intervention in aviation. Yes, of course, many economists are saying, well, the policies, the tightening of the monetary policy may not just solve the problem of inflation. Of course, there are other number of issues pushing the inflation in the country. And some also pointed that, in fact, the CBN borrowing to the federal government is also helping to push inflation up. Will CBN take some step back in that direction? But with the budget of 2023 with so huge deficit, which the government intends to fund through borrowing, we are not about seeing any fall in inflationary rate anytime soon. Of course, that intervention on the issue of airlines and their foreign exchange repatriation, the CBN was very clear, not under any obligation to provide the airlines with foreign exchange. But I imagine if the airlines were to source their foreign exchange, the $265 million talking about recently, from other sources, it will still get back to the Naira, to the CBN, providing for the banks, and you can imagine the punishing effect that will have on the value of the Naira. So, but for now, the CBN governor said, well, they'll still do their bit to deal with that aspect of the foreign airlines and their funds repatriation. Now, the Guardian newspaper is reporting this story. Economy in rare credit squeeze as CBN continues with 20-year high interest. MPR raised to 15.5%, highest in 20 years. CBN in debit commercial bank to effect CRR on Thursday. And don't worry, increase creates opportunity for federal government to mop up local funds. Job losses to worsen, expert warn. Nigeria laments soaring food prices, address supply side shocks to check inflation. Of course, manufacturers are also complaining because it means they will not pay more for their loans. And who will bear the brunt of that? There may be job losses, and of course, the inflationary trend, they will just pass on some of these costs to the consumers. And the inflation we're trying to deal with will just continue to soar. Now, let's look at the Nation newspaper. Yes, also reporting the CBN on CBN. Nigerians face harder times as CBN raises interest rate. Now, the Punch newspaper, 2023, Atiku governors land in Abuja. Tinubu Obi delay campaigns. Police put personnel on alert. IG, INEC chair to address presidential candidates. Yes, the campaigns have been flagged off. Now, the Leadership newspaper is also reporting this story. As 2023 campaigns begin today, 18 candidates want Buhari's job. And, of course, the front runners we know, but there are other presidential candidates, and we must give all of them attention as broadcasters, Ruben. You hamper on that, because they must all be given fair hearing. But clearly, there are front runners and there are front runners. Now, the PDP flag bearer, of course, landing in Abuja for what is supposed to be a book launch. But it's a good way to kick off the campaign. Of course, most of the major newspapers today, donning the PDP adverts, tells you, well, they've been planning this for quite some time. But of course, if you've been running for the presidency for this 5th or 6th time, Tiku, yes, you must be ready like the Boy Scout. And it's not surprising that he has taken off as to the referee's bullet, as it were. But with the Wike crisis still hanging somewhere, the PDP campaign train has moved. Of course, when the train moves, it may leave you behind, but you can easily join at another station. I think that's what the PDP seem to have done in this case. We cannot solve all the problems before we kick off the campaigns. We start the campaigns, we are going ahead, but we continue to talk to Wike and his friends. And I think that's what they are doing. But for the APC, yes, the Daily Sun newspaper is reporting, the Daily Sun, more cracks in APC over campaign council. Key party leaders aggrieved, maintain distance from presidential campaign council. Because the APC has postponed indefinitely, for that matter, its takeoff, its campaign, which is supposed to kick off today, including the 1 million man march also being put on hold. The presidential candidate at Siwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his running mates out of the country as we speak. Yes, but other stories on front page of the Daily Sun newspaper, Daily Sun, PDP crisis. I won't abandon Wike autumn. Well, is he recanting? But it's also saying Ayu should not go. So perhaps he should be the one to convince Wike to do the needful if Ayu is not going according to autumn. But another story there, presidency. My victory will be stepping stone for Southeast at Tiku. Yes, he was in the Southeast to meet with stakeholders and the bigwigs of PDP in the region. And I think it was a great outing for him, hitting all the right notes. But my presidency, stepping stone for Southeast, will Atiku do one term and allow somebody from the Southeast to be specific, run for that position on the PDP ticket if he wins? That is a big question, Ruben and Rufai.
And that's a big question, because when I saw that, I was wondering, is it one term he's going to do? Because Alhaji Atiku is 75 now. If he does 2 terms, he should be well in his 80s by then. And when he leaves office, if he wins, this is hypothetical, I'm not saying he's going to win.
If he wins, underline that.
If he wins, it will be about the oldest president to date Nigeria ever had. So is it one term he's saying? Let's clarify these things, because for me that's very nebulous, that I'm the stepping stone to the Southeast presidency. And what kind of Southeast presidency are we talking about? After your 2 terms, wouldn't other regions now say, okay, they want it? Wouldn't other regions say, okay, this is the time for it? Is the conversation going to be about Southeast presidency in 2027 when a lot of people are saying this will have been the right time for the Southeast? Don't people even feel that where the slot he is using should have gone to the Southeast in his own political party in the interest of fairness? Why should it be after him than the Southeast?
But one of the demands stakeholders are making on Atiku is that you pledge to do 1 term.
Well, politicians can say what they like. People can ask what they want. What is important is that in this 2023 process, the Nigerian people must be given the opportunity, must be allowed to make the choice. The choice that they will make is what they will live with. Whether that choice is informed or uninformed. After all, we made a choice in 2015, 8 years later.
Supposedly informed at that time.
So today, we're living with that choice. So it's just for the people of Nigeria to be given the opportunity to go through a transparent and credible process and make a choice. And they should be ready to live with the consequences of that choice. That's the lesson of the last 8 years. So whether Atiku Abubakar says his presidency will be a stepping stone for the Southeast or not, it's not for him to determine that. It's an aspiration. He can say that. He says he has 3 children from the Southeast.
From the East.
That is fine. But what I find even more important is the commitment by the security agencies that they will ensure a very safe process for the voter. I think that is important. All the security agencies must ensure that in every part of Nigeria, every Nigerian of voting age is able to exercise his or her franchise without let or hindrance. That is important. Security being a major issue. The other issue that, for want of time, we may not be able to talk about is how this week the national grid collapsed from over 3,000 megawatts to 38 megawatts. 38 megawatts for a country of over 200 million people. I consider that disgraceful. And I think that in itself should push us to begin to take the energy crisis that Nigeria faces more seriously. Thank you very much, Emmanuel Efe.